Hello again, fun. This is Clever Trevor one more time looking at our plantain suckers. In another couple of days, 3 days or so, these plants will be 5 months old. So we've been tracking the growth of the plant. We've been applying different methods to help the plants to grow healthy and identifying any type of disease or needs the plant may have along the way and applying treatments accordingly and observing the results of the treatments that we've been using with the plants. Well, as you can see, they are growing beautifully, right? And we're going to walk through like we normally do and look for anything that needs attention in order to help the plants to grow better and healthier. Alright, so if you notice, some of these plants are, most of them have dirt piled up around the roots of the plants. The reason for this is to help the plants to put more roots into the ground to make them stronger when they start bearing fruits. So what we look for to determine when to add soil around the root of the plant is signs of roots showing up above the soil. Alright, so all the ones that have the extra dirt around the root of the plant are ones that I noticed were showing the root above the soil. Alright, so each day, each week, we go through and we look for things like these. We observe the leaves on the plant, we observe the trunk of the plant, and based on what we're seeing. Also, when you have the shoots coming out, and you want to add some soil around the root of the plant at that time to strengthen the root system by giving it more soil to push out more roots into, to make the plants stronger so they can grow thicker and healthier. You get better bunches of fruits when the fruits are ready. As you notice, we have some plants that are larger than others, and this is based on a couple of things that we observe as well. Now the ones over here are in the shade. They tend to have a slower growth rate and they are a little bit more smaller, alright, compared to the ones that get good sunlight. And also, what happened is that we plant different size suckers. So some suckers were planted larger than others, and that's also the other thing that will show a difference in the size of the plants, even though they've been in the ground for the same amount of time. Some plants, the original shoot dies and then I secondary shoot comes out. This one, for example. Yeah, but for the most part, all of these plants are showing healthy growth rate, meaning we have new leaves coming out, the trunks are getting stronger, and those are signs that your plants are doing well. Here we have a plant that, even though it had soil around it, the root has grown or is growing above the soil or has grown above the soil, which tells us that we need to add more soil around the root of this plant. And this is another way that you can determine how well your plant is growing. Alright. By adding the soil and noticing when the root starts coming above the plant. Apart from that, some persons will add soil twice during each cycle, and that's at 3 months, and when the plants start producing fruits at about 6 months. Alright. However, we've been using the method of applying a little bit each month throughout the life cycle of the plant, or in some cases, if the need arises for more soil, which are the cases where you have the root showing above the soil, and when there is a shoot next to the soil, and the plant is also bearing fruits, like this one, for example. Notice over here we have a bunch of plantain coming out of this one. Right there we have shoots. Right there. Right. And we have roots right there. So all the factors are in play. This plant right here, so we're definitely going to apply some soil, and we're going to apply a bit of fertilizer to help boost the production of the fruit and strengthen the plant for both the shoot and the fruit that's coming up out of it. Alright, so we'll mark that one. We'll come back to it in a few. Alright. Here a day ago we took out a bunch of plantain from this one right here. Over here we have a nice bunch of bananas growing on this one. And this root is showing again on top. Notice right here we have these roots coming up, even though this already has soil around it. So things like that we look for each day, and that tells us that we need to add some more soil around the root of that plant. So that's the second one that is showing a need for. And here we have another bunch right here growing. Soil around the roots, cut grass for mulching to keep moisture in the soil. That's growing great. Another bunch was taken from that one. You have some horticulture going right there. So Duranto gold dust. We're growing right there. In a couple of months, those will be sold. Alright. Still going through looking at other plants. So each month we make a video like this and we talk about the things we observe while growing plantain and share how we treat them and just sharing the idea of how to grow healthy plantain trees, so persons who want to get involved in growing plantains for commercial reasons, for personal reasons, you'll get a pretty good idea of how to grow a plantain tree successfully from sucker all the way through to fruiting. So like I said, we're at 5 months, so this is how we're looking. Beautiful trees, different sizes, different stages throughout the 5-month period. This is another one that has fruit on the tree. Checking the soil around the root. This one has enough, so all the root is covered. Suckers are growing well next to it, and we have a lovely bunch of plantain right there. See that? Beautiful. In a few months or so we'll be looking at hundreds of these. So so we just go through each day, each week, each month, and we look at what's happening with the plants that we're growing, share the information, share the treatment to allow persons to have a place where they could go to learn a little bit about how to grow these plants successfully. Now the benefit of adding the soil around the root of the plant is that it prevents the plant from toppling over because the plant has enough soil to grow enough root to keep it rigid to support the weight of the fruit when the bunch is growing. And also, if you live in a windy area where the breeze is high, 20 knots, 15 knots or higher, then a stronger trunk, a stronger root helps the plants to withstand the breeze, and that way it doesn't topple over. Or what some persons do, they'll use what we call a crotch stick to support the plant during the time when the fruits are on there. Now, if you are not able to find the sticks to support the plant when the fruits are growing, then the next best option is simply adding soil around the root of the plant while they're growing, and the plant will send out roots that are strong enough to support itself and the fruit that's growing on the tree. And in this way you will have the tree standing up and the fruits growing successfully, and the breeze will blow and the tree will enjoy the breeze and the fruits will grow, and they'll be great and fine. This is an example of a crotch stick. So you put it at an angle against the tree. You know, it doesn't have to be rigid, it just needs to be there to support the slightest shift of weight of the tree if the breeze is blowing or the weight of the fruit gets too heavy, in a case where the root system is not able to develop enough to support the weight of the plant. Alright, you notice this one, it does have soil around the root. However, I still use the crotch stick to support the weight of the plant, because when we found this one, the fruit was already bearing on the tree. So to be extra secure, we use both of the methods, both the crotch stick and adding the soil to allow it time to grow that way. But this one here, for example, we already were adding soil around the roots before the fruit started growing, so it had enough to support the plant and the weight of the fruit. Hence, we were able to grow it successfully just by adding soil around the roots. Alright, beautiful growing plants, beautiful horticulture here. These will be out in another couple of weeks. These are for sale as well. This is another project that we'll make some videos about soon. We have a couple thousand potted plants here that we do as well every couple of months, and these we sell to commercial buyers. Alright, so thanks again for your time, Clever Trevor, one more time, sharing how we grow successful planting trees, and we'll keep doing this until we reap, and we'll document the entire process so persons who are interested, who want to do their backyard farming, and persons who want to do a little commercial farming to for sustainable living, self-reliance. Alright, have fun.